Hello everyone, good evening. Wishing you all a very warm welcome for the second session on Connecting the Dots Season 2, Our Festivals and Responsible Tourism, India and Abroad, which is organized by the National Scientific Committee of Cultural Tourism, NSCCT, in collaboration with NSC's Intangible Cultural Heritage and the Historic Towns and Villages, ICOMOS India. Thank you. So today's session is going to be of the North and Northeast zone. And we have three brilliant speakers with us. We have Dr. Sanjib Kr Borkakoti, who's going to speak on agrarian festivals in Assam and responsible tourism, followed by Engineer Dilip Changkakoty. He will be speaking on the Buddhist cultural tourism in Assam. And lastly, we have Dr. Harveen Bhandari, who will be speaking on festivals at Shaktipithas of Himachal Pradesh. So we will be starting with Dr. Sanjib ji, and I request everyone to please keep their mics on mute. If anyone has any questions or any doubts, they can write it down in the chat, and we will be taking all the queries and comments from the experts at the very end of all the three sessions. I will also be sharing the screen now. Please let me know if it is visible. Yes, sir. You can start.
My presentation is on Agrarian festivals in Assam and responsible tourism. My PPT will be shared by Shreeamey, since I have some connectivity problem here. So please go to the second slide. Agricultural festivals of Assam. As much as 69% of Assam's population are engaged in the agricultural sector, which is higher than the all India percentage, 54%. So that brings out the importance of this sector. Paddy is the most important food grain produced in Assam. Then tea is the most important cash crop of Assam, which contributes 60% of all India output. I'm giving this data to highlight the importance of agriculture for Assam and how it influences the culture. The harvest seasons of paddy happens to be pleasant seasons. Naturally, people find it opportune to engage in festivities. Thus, agrarian festivals evolved over time. Spring is the most favorable season for the festivals, as it is well known. Regarding the tea tribes, they engage in festivities mostly in the autumn season. And the festivals here are held in such a season, which is also very congenial for tourism. So these festivals themselves can be part of tourism. That's why tourism and agricultural festivals are interlinked for Assam. Please, the next slide. There are many agricultural festivals celebrated in Assam. The most important ones are Bihu, Baisagu, Ali Ailigam, Jodbil Mela, Karam Puja, Porak, Baikho, Bishudima, Vateli. These are observed by different tribes, different ethnic groups of Assam. But regarding Bihu, it is observed by all the people of the state, while others are mostly confined to certain ethnic groups. The next slide. Bihu is celebrated in three parts. The Bhogali Bihu is observed in January month. It is also known as Magh Bihu. It is mostly about celebration of food. Then Rangali Bihu is observed in April, which is also known as Bohag Bihu. This Bihu is known for merriment. The Bihu dance, the Bihu Naam are well known. These are very famous all over the world. The third one, the Kongali Bihu, is observed in October. It is basically for the protection of the crops. How natural measures can be taken to protect the crop from the insects that is embedded in the practices of this particular Bihu. But one thing is common to all these Bihus, that the indigenous food and merriment are a part of all these three Bihus. The next slide. Though basically Bihu is an agrarian festival, both farmers and non-farmers celebrate it all over Assam. The Sutia tribal people of Assam originally introduced this festival in 5th to 6th century. The Ahom kings then offered royal patronage to Bihu festivities. These kings ruled over Assam for 600 years, which is world, almost a world record. The traditional gamusa is gifted to near and dear ones during the Rangali Bihu. You can see a gamusa being shown on the side here, and this has recently received a GI tag, a special product of Assam. During Magh Bihu or Bhogali Bihu, a holy fire called Meji is lit at very dawn. The Kati Bihu or Kongali Bihu is known for protection of crops by lighting lamp called Akashbanti in paddy field. It's a natural way of annihilating the insects which damage the crops. So this is very interesting that Bihu is not only for merriment, but it is also for the protection of the nature and the crop. Next slide. Bihu song is accompanied by a vibrant dance. There are different types of dance. Here I have a video where the group of Meghali Bordoloi performs Jeng Bihu here, and it's very nice that Meghali herself is very much present here. So please play the video. This particular dance is known as Jeng Bihu. It is performed by ladies. And one speciality of this particular performance is that ladies of almost all age group have participated. Meghali and her mother also are there in the group. Please start.
So we can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
We can hear the audio.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
it
we're
is beautiful.
audible. Yes. Yes.
Achha. Okay, now coming to the Baisagu festival, this particular word Baisagu means the start of New Year. This festival is observed at the beginning of the first month of the Boru year, around mid-April, when Rangali Bihu is also celebrated. On the first day, cows are worshipped. The next day, young people bow down to parents and elders. People worship the deity Bato or Shiva by offering chicken and rice beer. The Bagrumba dance is performed to appease Bato, which is symbolized by the Sisu tree. Instruments like serja, sifong, etc. are used in this dance. So this is observed by the Boru community of Assam. And it's very, very famous. It's very colorful. Next slide. Ali Ligan, it's a spring festival celebrated by the Missing tribe of Assam. It marks the beginning of the Kharif paddy cultivation and initiates the sowing of seeds. Paddy sowing is started on the first day of the festival. The festival is held on the first Wednesday of February. People perform a Gumrak dance to the tune of Koinitam songs. Some activities like plowing and tree cutting are forbidden during the festival period. The last day is called Halilan, when a community feast is held. Homemade wine, appam and pork meat, puran, apin, etc. are relished. So you can see that every festival is associated with a particular form of dance. And every festival has some norms which is necessary for the participants to observe to protect the environment and nature. That is ingrained in all this. The next slide. Junbil Mela. It is a 3-day annual fair organized by the Tiwa tribe in the middle of Assam. It is held in January in the first weekend of Magh Bihu. The place where it is held is Dayang Belguri. It's near Jagi Road. The Mela started around 15th century. It was first planned as a political event, which was accompanied by a market. Then the market became the main thing later on. The tribal communities of nearby hills as well as plains converged there. They exchanged their merchandise with those of the indigenous Assamese people in a barter system.
Sir,
That
I have a small request. Sanjib sir.
Yeah.
I have a small request. These words are new to us. So I'll be very happy if you say what is Janbil means. Okay, like you said, your festival, Young festival. So I'll be grateful if you can tell the meaning of the words. That has a lot of value, sir, for us. Thank you.
Junbil, it's a combination of two words. June means moon. Bil means pond.
Okay.
Maybe there was a pond in that place, particular place, which was shaped like moon. So that way, this word might have cropped up. And Mela means gathering a open market. So they exchange their merchandise in the Junbil Mela, with those from the indigenous Assamese people in a barter system, which still continues. It is perhaps the only place in India where barter system is still alive. Of course, both the systems are practiced there. Some people use barter and some people use money for exchange. Both are there. Next slide. Karam Puja. Karam Puja, it's a festival of the tea tribes. It is observed in the August or September month. The young people go to the jungle with their drummers and young unmarried girls to collect some branches from the karam tree. The karam is the name of a particular tree, which they plant for worshipping. The deity is provided with liquor and food grains. As I said earlier, protection and worship of the nature is embedded in the culture of these ethnic groups. And another attraction is the use of their indigenous wine. Almost all the ethnic groups, the ethnic tribes of Assam have their own characteristic indigenous wine, which they serve to the guest in these festivals. The next slide. Porag. Porag is a springtime post-harvest annual festival of the Mishing tribe. Porag, the word means the pollen of flowers. Maybe it was taken from that. It is also known as Narasinga Bihu. As we have seen, most of these festivals of the tribes in Assam are held contemporarily with Bihu. So when Bihu is celebrated side by side, or a little before that or little after that, so many festivals are held. So the time of Bihu, that springtime, is observed as a festival time by almost all the ethnic groups in the state. This particular Porag festival is celebrated to express gratitude to the Mother Earth, the ancestors, and the Almighty God. The youths participate in cultural programs during the festival. Their dance steps resemble the agricultural task. Pigs are sacrificed in this festival. People are treated to food and drinks. The festival runs for 5 days. The next slide. Baiko. Baiko is celebrated to propitiate the goddess of wealth, Baiko. So this particular word is used to denote their deity. And they worship that deity in order to get abundant crops as well as good health. It is practiced by the Maitori and Rangdani groups of Rabha people. This is observed in the June month. Rituals are performed to ward off evil spirits and beget sufficient rains. People dress in their traditional attire and dance to the beat of drums. In the evening, a bamboo structure is burned, and then the priest pray to the harvest god. People also indulge in games like tug of war. As you can see in the picture given here, they have their own characteristic costume, their own dress. All the ethnic groups have their own dress. You have seen in my slides that every group wear their own dress, and all communities have a separate distinctive dresses. And these are very colorful. And motifs of these dresses are very different. It differs from one community to another. The next slide. Bishudima or Busudima is an annual 3-day cultural festival celebrated by the Dimasa Kotsari tribe. It is a post-harvest festival celebrated after the completion of grain harvest. It is celebrated when all work for June cultivation is completed. It is thus an occasion for relaxation from hard toils. It is usually held in January. It commences on January 28 and ends on January 29. Dima alludes to the Dimasa tribe, while Bishu refers to Bihu. As I said earlier, many of these festivals are held concurrently with the Bihu festival. So the Bihu word is found to some extent in a modified manner. So it is celebrated, it is almost similar to the Bihu celebrated in the place. You can see from the picture what type of dress their ladies wear. As you can see, all the communities wear different motifs. The next slide, Pateli. Pateli festival is celebrated in the whole undivided districts of Kamrup and Gwalpara. It is basically a magical rite associated with the fertility cult. The Boru Kachari community call it Vaiteli. They plant a tall decorated bamboo in the field, make a small hut close by. They offer their eatables, black pigeon and black goat for the deities. They pray so that no harm is caused to the village and that the deities leave the people in peace and go away downstream. The Kachari people symbolize the departure of the gods by putting the offerings, the pigeon and the goat on a raft, which is let loose in the river. In fact, what Vaiteli means going downstream. So these beliefs are associated with the festival. Next. And one very important thing is that all these festivals are eco-friendly. As we have seen, they worship the nature, they abstain from cutting trees during the festival. And even the containers from putting indigenous wine is made from bamboo. Here I've put a video. If it is possible, you can play it. The bamboo is cut into small pieces. These are small containers, bamboo-made containers. They keep wine in that and serve the wine to the guest. They do not use artificial utensils. So these are the containers. Even cakes are prepared there. For the cakes, these containers are a bit longer. They put the eatables there and they burn it in fire, and it becomes a rice cake. But this particular container is for putting wine. The next slide. So here we come to the do's and don'ts for the tourist. The festivals are related to the community traditions socially, culturally, and spiritually. So any tourism effort should take cognizance of that. The belief of the particular tribe should not be offended. The tourist should have prior briefing about the customs and traditions. The tourist must be careful about the authenticity of any program while documenting any festival, since commercialization has led to unacquainted people trying to cash in on the demand. This has happened with Bihu, with some so-called artists performing them in distorted manner. Some serial in OTT has shown Bihu in a very wrong manner very recently. The absorption capacity of any place has to be kept in mind in allowing the tourist. The tourist must not pollute the environment with non-biodegradable objects. The next slide. Here, I'm giving the names of the sources of the photographs and video: Dilip Changkakoty, Samiran Goswami, Jitendas, Meghali Bardole, Nunit Langthasa, Tutubani Baru, and some photos taken from internet. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, sir. Because quite a few of our participants joined later and there was a slight delay in also beginning our live stream. I would like to now introduce our previous speaker, Dr. Sanjib, so that everyone knows. Dr. Borkakoti is an industrial economist by training. He's a published author. He's deeply interested in the life and works of medieval reformer Sriman Shankardev, who preached an egalitarian social outlook. And he's trying to spread the humanitarian ideology globally. So thank you so much, Dr. Sanjib. That was a wonderful presentation. Thanks for the 2 great videos. I'm sorry we could not connect the audio, but I think we'll work it out. So, in the next sessions, we don't have this issue again. I think we can now move on to our next speaker. If anyone has any queries or questions for Dr. Sanjib, please write them down in the chat box and we can take them up later. Our next speaker is Engineer Dilip Changkakoty. He is the Northeast Zone representative and is an engineer by profession. He wears many hats. He's a published author and is currently busy studying the 7th century hand gesture scripture and a 17th century Vaishnav musical rhythm scripture. And he will be publishing the translation with commentaries of the same. He has also published 30 papers on music and cultural subjects. He was directly involved with ICOMOS and the National Museum, New Delhi since 1998 on the Majuli project, which is a river island in Assam. Today, he shall be talking to us about the Buddhist cultural tourism in Assam and the related festivals in detail. So, Dilipji, please, I will be sharing the screen now.
Yes.
And let me know if it is visible to you and we can take it up from there.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Namaskar to all. This is my title page.
Yes, sir.
Next, go to second page. The introduction. The main object of Buddhist cultural tourism are educational to place, monument, and pilgrimage of Buddhist culture. Enjoy of performing art, preparation of festival and other cultural events, acquisition of knowledge of folklore and arts and others. Since ancient time, there was a pilgrimage route from Kashmir to Pradesh, the present Guwahati, that is present Assam, along the foothills of Himalaya. This route also connected Kashmir with Garhwal, Humayun, Nepal, Tibet, and Bhutan, Anga, Banga, Kalinga, Magad, and others. There was probably a unique cultural entity in the entire region, and says Bharat, refer it to as the Udra Magadhi instinct in Natasastra. Then another thing is Gyangans is believed to be oldest center of Hindu learning in the southwest of Himalaya. This center is also called Sangrila by the Buddhist. It is notable. It is notable. It is notable that this region also fall within the Udra Magadhi region. Note again that the well-known ancient Indian center of learning was the University of Nalanda, situated in this region. There was another well-known ancient center of learning, University of Takshashila, on the border of Udra Magadhi region, that is in the Panchal Madhyama region. Therefore, the Himalayan region has been, is, and will continue to be a point of attraction for wisdom seeker for centuries. The next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, the ancient Buddhism place in Assam. There are many ancient places or ancient monuments, ancient resources, but we have now elaborated only six. These six ancient sites are Hyagrib Madhav Temple in Hazu, Kamakya Temple in Guwahati, Sri Surya Hill in Gwalpara, Mystical Mayang, then Byaspara village in Sipazar, and Dam Sarkas in Nalbari. The next slide, please. Hyagrib Temple. It is believed among the Bhutanese, Nepalese, Tibetan Buddhists that Maestro Padma Sambhava, that is Guru Rinpoche, attained Mahanirvan in Hazu, and his physical body is under the foundation of the Hyagrib Temple. In this slide, here is the Hyagrib Temple, and it then there is an engineer in my colleague called engineer Manoj Kumar Das. He have given me an information that he says that in his childhood, he saw a member of Royal Bhutanese, Royal family of Bhutan, drag an idol just near this temple, and it is just like our Hindu Ganesha. And after that, this temple, he described that this is he saw some description in their scripture, and as per description, he have dig it and discovered it. And after that, there is a temple-like structure they have made, and it is now well known as a Ganesh temple of Hyagrib. It is considered that a part of the secret geography of Hazu for these Buddhists. The distance between Hazu and Guwahati is only 23 kilometers towards the northeast. Next slide, please. This is famous Kamakya temple. And this temple actually originally, it is said that the original of this temple was a Buddhist temple. And after that, it is believed that it is a temple of Vishnu. Then finally, it is believed that it is come to the goddess Kamakya. It is also said that in Brajajani Buddhist maestro Padmasambhava went to Kashmir for the foothills of Himalaya with the goddess Tara, the one of the goddess of Dasa Mahavidya of Kamakya, with bell and braja instrument. And he returned from the Kashmir to Bhutan and finally attained Mahanirvan in his native place, Haju. Therefore, seen it, this is a very notable thing. Therefore, no any Zunifit. There are Zunifit in other 9 Dasa Mahavidya, including the Kamekha, Ma Kamekha, but there is no Zunifit in Tara of the Nilachal Hills. It is said that the Guru Padmasambhava take the Tara, Devi Tara with him, Tara and the this is one bell and braza instrument to Kashmir. Then it is returned to Bhutan, and he is placed in Bhutan. Tara in Bhutan in his part. This is Brajajani Buddhism. And the Mahamuni Vasishta then take the Tara, return to the Tara towards the Kamrup. It is a might. Then next slide, please. This is the Suja Hills. Then this actually other than the rock carving of Lord Buddha, there is 25 granite stupa in different shapes and size in this Suja Hill, Galpara. There is also some Jain scriptures and Jain and also Suja scriptures in this area. It is near the Guwahati, 132 kilometers from Guwahati towards the west. Mind it, the Hagrid Madhava and the Suja Hill in the north bank of Brahmaputra. Then next slide, please. Mystical mind. Actually, we have already done one webinar about full webinar about the Maya, so that you can go and search it in our iCommerce site at YouTube. You have got all details about Maya. Then now I have just give one simple para about the Maya. The ancient time, Zuga was known among the Nat community as well as the Brahmin community of Kamrup. Kamrup means the whole Kamrup country. The Nat lives in the middle of the Brahmaputra Valley. This is in both north and south bank, and were probably Buddhist. The main place of residence was Maya. That is the southern bank of Brahmaputra. And there are 10 caves and inscription in Tibetan script, and it is in Tibetan script on the rock of the hills. The next slide, please. Next slide, behind us. This is my another very interesting subject I have done last 5 years in this village. This is called Biahujapati. Please see that this is one braza instrument. There are 2 types of braza instrument. Then right hand was called Mudura, and the left hand is called Rangili Khati. And see this braza instrument is just like Buddhist braza, and we have this is very significant. Then the ballad or the Gatha music, which is dated back to the 4th century, is accompanied by the costumes such as the braza. This is braza and Buddhist master. What costumes Buddhist master wear, just like that. The master of this Gatha also wear the same cloth and same type of cloth of same type of dress. It is not only that this Jagar song, there is a song called Jagar of Vyasujapali, mention goddess like Rakaseni, Tara, Brajaseni, and others. These goddesses are also the deities of this Buddhist Buddhist is a Brajajani Buddhist. And there is a myth that Baba Guru Gorakhnath came in Assam, and his maestro or his guru is Minnath. And Minnath give him the spiritual knowledge and also give him that the knowledge of Jagargit. And Baba Gorakhnath returned to the Kumaon and this Garhwal Himalaya, and he teach the local people this Jagargit. And nowadays, the Jagargit of Uttarakhand or Himachal is famous all over the world, as well as in the our country. Actually, this Jagargit are singing in the Navaratri festival of Autumn Durga Puja in all over India. But this Jagargit actually, we have here is a myth that this Jagargit originated in the Assam. So this Ujapali, this Jagargit, means this Vyas Ujapali, performed in the Autumn Durga Puja in the royal palace of Darangi King in their royal palace called Mohanpur of Mangalore district, and Uparhali Durga temple of Vijayanagar. And now in June 16, the Ardhanarishwar temple in the Patidorang of Mangalore. And in the 16 or 17 November, Rudeshwar temple of Maharipara of Mangalore. And 2nd October, the Ujapali is performed at Parijati temple of Bayaspara, Sipaja. The next slide, please. This is Drum Circus of Nalbari. It is a very popular circus. It is called also Kamrupi Dhulia. This circus is practicing in the Kaihati, Romari, Koithalkusi area of Nalbari district. And this here in this drum circus or the drama, the Sutrodhari dance, puppet dance, various somersault, funny acting, jokers, and use of marks and others, you have seen that it is said that this style of drama is very ancient, and it is evolved into the dance and song now prevalent in the Brajajani and the Mahajani Buddhist monasteries. It is again noted the Sutradhari dress is still used our Vaishnava, Vyas Maestro, and Buddhist Lama in the Assam. The next slide, please. In the sector of literature, there is a Sarjagit. Sarjagit is one of Buddhist songs used their Sahajjan Pantha. And it is Kamakha is longly associated of Mahajani Buddhism, as I previously speak. This Buddhist Lama from the Nepal, Bhutan, and Tibet often visit our Kamakha temple in Kamrup, that is in Guwahati. They say that this Sarjagit they have sing were composed in the Kamrup Kamakha temple. In fact, in our close observation, it is seen that the ragas and melodies of the Dehabishar Git and some of Borgit of Assam are similar to the Sarjagit. Scholars believe that the writers of Sarjagits, such as Luipad, Sarahpad, Minnath, Santinpad, Dumbipad, Dandanpad, and Mohidharpad, has special connection with Kamrup Kamakha. Next slide, please. Now we're going to the festivals of the Buddhists nowadays. We have seen the Buddha Purnima of Sankan festival. Actually, there are two different things is happen here. One from Theravadi and another from Mahajaniya Buddhism. And this is the Theravadi. And now I have described the four numbers of Theravadi festival, actually four main festival in Assam. This number one Theravadi festival is Buddha Purnima, Sonkan festival. This Buddha Purnima, our Sonkan festival celebrate in Upper Assam. And this is traditional New Year Day. It is they have in a Theravadi Buddhist community, and this is in a celebrate in Lunar Day and Full Moon Day. And this festival celebrated by Thai Phake, Thai Atan, Thai Turung community, and it is celebrated in the last day of the old year, and a new days of they begin in the day after the end of the festival. The next slide, please. This is Boy Sangken Festival. It is made of April. It is also called. It is also called Water Festival. It is just like the Water Festival of Thailand. The main attraction of this festival is splitting the clean water, which is the symbol of peace and purity. The celebration take place in 3 consecutive days. The idol of Buddha is taken out after the ceremony bath, and the holy bath of the Buddha is auspicious even in the festival. The procession is accompanied by drum, dance, and enjoyment. During the celebration, the local people makes homemade sweets and distribute them. An exchange of gift item is also common trial in this festival. Next slide, please. This is Katin Cyber Festival. That is Katin Cyber Festival. Actually is celebrated in the mid of October. The Katin festival is a ritual of offering cloth to Buddhist monk in the winter. In Assam, the villagers, especially the old men, have begun the weaving cloth. Actually, the old men, the villagers are weaving this cloth in whole night. And in the morning, they offer to the monks. And just like that, in our home, royal family, they have another thing is that when the royal person go to the war, the wife have weave that cloth in the whole night and give to the his husband, so that he have returned safely. That is kavos, just like a kavos cloth. Prior to the women take part in the rally with carrying a tree called Kalpotoru tree. This is an artificial tree, and hanging some money on the tree. A procession stop in front of every villager's household, and they give the blessing to the household owner. The next slide, please. Moiku Changkakoty Festival, and it is celebrated in the mid of February. The festival celebrated in a full moon day of Assamese month of Magha. Then it is just like our Magha Bihu, that is Bhugali Bihu, just like that. And this is a 2-day festival celebrated in February, every year. And this is a traditional Buddhist festival and a colorful festival. In this festival, there is a mezi. Please see in the photograph, there is a tall mezi. It is about 4.5 to 6 meter height. And this mezi is constructed by traditional art and culture of wood, bamboo, soken khai, flowers, etc. And the mezi was then this is the mezi was burned, just like we have done in Assamese Bihu festival, just like that. And the program of the festival included the hosting of the World Buddhist Flag, then Triple Gems prayer, community feast, administration of sila, and cultural functions, religious, this is called religious discourse, and sitting in fire to the mezi and the smoking, among the other. This is wine, etc., etc. Other are offering to the guest. Next slide, please. This is another part of the Buddhism is the Mahajani or Brajajani, and we have seen there are this is Theravadi are situated in the upper Assam portion, in the most in the in southern bank, in the northern bank of the Brahmaputra, and the foothills of Himalaya. There are actually Mahajani or Brajajani Buddhism, and the southern bank, actually mainly in upper Assam, they are Theravadi. Then this Brajajani have they are celebrated the Buddha Purnima. They have called it Saga Dawa Dutsan Festival. It's just like they have called they have pronounced in the Tibetan type. Then this is in the Buddha festival. It is celebrated in the Buddha Purnima or Vaishakha Purnima. They have called actually Buddha Day. This is the festival. Reason is the festival. They have pray for the long life of their holy gurus by tradition, and they are survived and spreading the Buddha teachings, so that they have survived and they are spreading the Buddha teaching among the peoples of among the peoples, and they want the peace, world peace. And Buddha in this day, Buddha devotees go to the monastery and the temples and pray for the world peace. The next slide, please. Next slide. And this is so told the Sun Festival, a festival of miracle. It is known as Sopa or the Butter Lamp Festival. They have this festival is celebrated in the 15 days of first month of the Tibetan calendar, full moon days. And here they have the butter collected from yak, methun, or buffalo, and give them the shape, the different shape of flowers, shape of trees, shape of birds, and auspicious symbol by the butter. And this butter lamp are offered to the god. And this is the main features of this festival. And in the house, in the devotee's house, they have also placed some also light this butter lamp, and in the public place they have lighted in this day. The next slide, please. Then this is the festival of Wheel of Dharma. This is the Sun festival, the festival of Wheel of Dharma. This festival is celebrated in the first week of August, and this is called Wheel of Dharma festival. And in the holidays, some of the celebrate in making pilgrimage and making offering the Buddhas. And it is a big opportunity to reflect the path and the impaction of our life. And the last festival is La Ha Bob Dutsan festival, or the festival of the descent of heaven. It is the festival where the four Buddhas, it is the main festival of the four Buddha festivals. And it is celebrated in 22nd day of the 9th lunar month of the calendar. And Buddhist festival is observed in Buddha's descent. Sorry. Buddha descends from the Terra Bhas Tivra, heaven down to the earth. The next slide, please. These are some idols collected in the Assam State Museum about the Buddha. These idols are from 4th century. From 4th century to
Wow.
13th century. Then this is collected by our member Gitanjali Borua. She had collected it. Then next slide, please. This is the list of Buddhist temple, monument, and Bihar of Assam. There are 15 Bihar in Guwahati and 70, all total 70 numbers I have identified in Assam. Next slide. And in the most of the monasteries, we have seen a rich library and museum. The Theravadi, in the Theravadi monasteries, they have used the language, the Thai language. This is the language, use them as it is from in the 13th century. So it is very old language, and this is used as it is in the 13th century. The South Asian countries are came here to research it. How can it survive as it is from the 13th century? And it is the very unique language they have used. And many seminars in the Upper Assam have religious seminar already held, and they have done many workshops with the South Asian countries, mainly Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, etc. Then we have gone to the conclusion of this presentation. Next slide, please. We have seen in this brief discussion that Buddhist cultural tourism is not full swing in Assam. Preparing map of educational tour is still pending. There is a room of thorough scientific study of the Mahajam and Brajajani script. Traditional performing art such as Vyasujapali, Kamrupya Dhulia, etc. and folklores should be rescued and documented. Like the Theravadis, Buddhist temples, monuments, Bihars, Mahajani or Brajajani monuments and others also need to widespread promotion, worldwide widespread promotion and protection. There are often a need of raise of awareness amongst the practitioners about the protection, promotion, dissemination, and the preservation of their intellectual properties. Critical and analytical musical development studies with the Sarjagit and Nautical Kamrupi music have also been timely conducted by the literary or music expert. This required special attention. There is no special scientific research study on the Mahajani or Buddhajani painting in Assam. This is must to be done. And then there is a room of protection, preservation, and promotion of Jagargit. It is undesirable to keep this resource of Northeast India away from the World Assembly. To the context, it is essential to provide special facility to the tourist, researchers, students, teachers, pilgrims, and others to preserving all the backup information, location, etc. in touch of a single button. Then another thing is in the point of
Dilipji, can we request you to wrap
Yeah.
it up, please?
Yes.
It's been so beautiful.
This is only one para. Only one para. Yes.
Sir.
Study of scriptures, conservation arts, and application of organic material, including building technique, building materials, building tools, and others, from the perspective of architecture or civil engineering is required. Then lastly, Masters does not transport the very high level wisdom unless they have find the right seekers. Usually a seeker is not easily trusted by the practitioners because he is not able to misuse knowledge or perfect it due to dignity, respect, and hard work. Therefore, most of the issues are kept secret. This is the only way to acquire this knowledge if the right person passes a difficult test. Many of such signs have been practiced in this region since ancient time. Therefore, these are very mysterious for the wisdom hunger. Then we have acknowledged in books, Sanskrit Samveda, and Natasastra Bharatmuni, then Astarangadi of Kolan, Puttini Mattam of Damodar Gupta, Harsha Sarit of Manabhatta, then English, a music of Eastern India by Roy Sukumar, a catalog of Sanskrit manuscript at a DHA, Chaudhary PC, in Assamese Sojagit, Hazarika Dr. Parikit, and Nirbasita Prabandhavali by Borua Binsi Kumar, Devi, Bordwe Dr. Nimal Prabha, Sri Sri Shankardev and Sri Sri Madhavdev Borgit Chaudhary Gargnarayan, Okhomia Buddha Dharma and Buddha Sanskriti, Dr. Shyamdeep, and Darang Rajbangshavali, Sastri, Dr. Vishwanarayan. Then next slide, please. Our informer is Thanag Shyam, Guwahati, Manoj Kumar Das Haju, Utpal Nath Mayang, Dr. Utpal Nath Mayang, Dr. Sanjib Kr Borkakoti, Nagaon, Dr. Paramananda Rajbangshi Sipazar, Mr. Barun Sharma Sipazar, he is a Biah Mestro, and Avani Sharma Sipazar, Biah Mestro, and Mr. Kulip Barua Duliazar, and photograph sources, Google Image, then Mr. Gitanjali Barua, Guwahati, and Mr. Gautam Talokdar, Guwahati, Dr. Utpal Nath Mayang, then Angsuman Bora Mayang, and Mr. Dilip Nath Sipazar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation. I would like to specially thank Dr. Sanjib and Engineer Dilip, sir. Despite network issues and unstable network, you were able to present, and both presentations were great. I think the first presentation gave us a good look into the indigenous tribes and their festivals over there, and Dilip sir's presentation showed a different light on the Buddhist cultural tourism and the Buddhist communities and their celebrations. And I think we also got to learn a lot of proper pronunciations in Assamese from both of you. And it's great to see that Dilip sir's work and Sanjib sir's work is also informing each other's research, where they're also crediting each other, with the acknowledgements. So a great knowledge sharing is happening here. It was great to see this. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjib and Engineer Dilip sir. Let's move on to the last and the third presentation for today by Dr. Harveen Bhandari. I will briefly introduce her, after which she can take over the forum. Dr. Harveen is a professor and the Dean Research and Scholastic Development at Chitkara School of Planning and Architecture in Chitkara University, Punjab. She has done extensive research on the Shaktipithas of Himachal Pradesh and has evaluated the cultural significance of these shrines. Today, she will be presenting us about the festivals at the Shaktipithas of Himachal. They are venerated Hindu temples that symbolize our ancient cultural landscape. The festivals and traditions followed in these shrines are the topic of discussion, and the heritage of temples would be discussed through the festivals, annual celebrations, and daily rituals. through which the significance of pilgrimage to these shrines is enhanced. So ma'am, I will stop sharing my screen now so that you can share your screen and shows the presentation.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes. Give me a moment. I'll just stop sharing the screen. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it okay? Okay. Thank you so much, Shreeamey. And I would also like to thank Architect Madhu Votri, the coordinator, NSC CT, for curating this series and thinking of something like this so that we share this with the others. And this is, of course, Connecting the Dots Season 2. So today we members from ECOMOS, and we are talking about the North and Northeast zone. So in India, after seeing the agrarian festivals in Assam and Buddhist cultural tourism in Assam, from now on, from Assam, I would like to take you all to Himachal Pradesh, which is also called the Devbhoomi in India. Talking about cultural tourism is one of the most important areas serving the global tourism demand. This basically involves experiencing the local culture, tradition, lifestyle, and participating in all art-related activities, and also visiting the monuments, museums, and all other the cultural heritage sites. In fact, tourism is the largest service industry in India, with a contribution of approximately 6.23% to the national GDP and 8.78% of the total employment in India. Cultural tourism in India over the years has evolved. It has started to have different forms, different names. We call it heritage tourism. It's also being called ecotourism for the natural sites. And there is also another form of tourism, which is called religious tourism. And of course, there is faith tourism. But today I'm going to talk purposely on the 5 temples. And I would like to talk about religious tourism because the visitors I could see in the temple, they were from diverse cultures and diverse socio-cultural backgrounds, and some of them were there just for tourism. Religious tourism in India. There are festivals in India. These are not just celebrations, but they are a way of life. Temples in India are host to several spectacular fairs, festivals, celebrations that are held annually throughout the year that lure innumerable visitors. International tourists also do not lag behind. From the far end of the globe, these people plan a trip to India, especially during that time, to be a part of those grand festivals and celebrations. And during those festivals, extravagant rituals, traditions, processions take place, feasts are organized, and all this gives them a memorable experiences of their lifetime. And I would say these experiences also promote them to come back to those sites again and again during that particular period. Most of the religious festivals of India, they have interesting mythological stories behind them that are passed from one generation to another so that the relevance of celebrating these festivals can be understood. And if I talk about places of religious tourism, it has almost earned a huge amount of more than 1.34 crore in 2022 as per the government data. Now, talking about India and talking about the regional context, India is majority Hindu, but religious minorities have sizable populations. If I talk about Hinduism, this is also the 3rd most popular religion in the entire world. Talking about Himachal Pradesh lies at the Shivalik ranges, at the foothills of those Shivalik ranges, and it enjoys the beautiful backdrop of the mountains. And also Himachal is very famous for 6 Shivalik sisters: Vaishno Devi, Kangra Devi, Chamunda Devi, Jwalamukhi Devi, Chintapurni Temple, Naina Devi Temple. Of course, we also have Mansa Devi Temple, but somehow it is a little offside, and this range of mountains is popular for these 6 Shivalik sisters. But over the time, since Vaishno Devi is a little far off, so people need to plan a pilgrimage to Vaishno Devi separately. However, Kangra, Chamunda, Jwalamukhi, Chintapurni, and Naina Devi, they fall in the same belt. So a popular pilgrimage circuit evolved over the years to these. If I'm talking about Hinduism and Hinduism in India and Himachal Pradesh, majority of the people follow Hinduism. Hinduism is basically popular as three different tenets of Hinduism: Vaishnavism, who are the followers of Lord Vishnu; Shaivism, the followers of Lord Shiva; and Shaktiism stands for a particular sect of Hinduism who believe completely in the supreme power of the goddess. These temples that have been built for the worship of the goddess Durga, they are called Shaktipith in India. They are located at local, regional, and pan-India level, and not over in India. They're also found in China, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and so on. Our religious texts claim to be different numbers for these Shaktipeeths: 4, which are called the Adi Shaktipeeths, which are powerful places of the goddess; then 18 Mahashaktipeeths, meditation purposes, very strong temples, and so on, 51 and 108. This map, you can see an approximate distribution of these 51 Shaktipeeths in India, and you can see they're quite concentrated in the Northeast India. If I talk about this sect, they believe goddess is the supreme power, and they believe goddess Durga is the consort of Lord Shiva. So they call it popularly a Shiv Shakti Dham or a Shiv Shakti temple, and also called Shaktipeeth. The 5 temples I am talking about over the years became a popular pilgrimage circuit, which the tourists prefer to cover, especially during the largest festival of the Hindu sect, which is the Navratras. And this pilgrimage is generally what you find in all the travel and tour websites, that they are going to arrange special travel and tour packages to visit these 5 temples in Himachal. The first one is the Naina Devi temple. From Naina Devi temple, we move to the Chintpurni temple, then to the Kangra temple, and then to Jwalaji, and at the highest altitude is the Chamunda Devi temple. So it's a circuit of these 5 temples. These temples also have a lot of mythological stories behind them, and one of them, which is very popular, is that these temples have been built at places where the body part of the goddess, it is believed that she immolated herself in fire, and she killed herself, and Lord Shiva could not take that, so he took her body and he performed Tandav, which is called the dance of destruction. So to save the entire world from destruction, Lord stopped Shiva, and they cut the body of the goddess into different parts. This is a very strong mythological story behind these temples. So wherever in the world the body parts of the goddess felt, a temple has been built. Chintpurni is synonymous with the falling of one of her eyes. Then Jwalamukhi, they say the trunk of the goddess, and so on. Different temples have different body parts, and it is believed that wherever that particular body part of the goddess fell, the temple has special medicating powers for those body parts of a female, if you go and visit and pay homage to these temples. There are a number of festivals and celebrations that take place during the years in these temples. So if you look at separately, the Chintpurni temple celebrates festivals like Chaitra Navratra, Shravan Navratras. Now these Navratras are 9-day festivals. They generally come twice a year, and it is celebrated pan-India for 9-10 days. Then there is Ashtami, Yashvin Navratras. In some places, they also celebrate a special Navratra, which is called Gupt Navratra. So basically, they are once in spring and once in the winters. Similarly, Bajreshwari temple also has these different celebrations. And when you enter these temples, there's a notice board, and all these dates, all these months are written on those boards, so that any visitor who comes there, he knows which is the most important festival. And if he wishes to visit the temple during that time, is very auspicious, and it is considered auspicious because pilgrimage in India is in the psyche of the people, and it is believed to be a space and time-bound ritual. If I talk about Chaitra Navratras, Sharad Navratras, this is a Hindu festival which is observed in the honor of goddess Durga, also referred to as Adi Parashakti, spans over 9 nights and 10 days. In the eastern and especially in northeastern states of India, Navratri is a celebration of goddess Durga's victory over the demon Mahishasur, that was to help restore dharma or authenticity or purity in the world. There are 9 different forms of the divine mother, the goddess Durga, which is her most popular name. She is also called by the name Sati or Shakti. They are worshipped during this festival. Devotees observe fast during these 9 days. They generally prefer a meal at one time of the day. Prayers are chanted. People feed Brahmins to seek their blessings. And there are 9 different forms of the goddess: Kushmanda, Brahmcharini, Chandrighata, Siddhatri, Katyayani, Mahagauri, Kalratri, Skandmata, and Shailputri, which are worshipped on each day of the festival. And the last is goddess Durga on her lion, and she is believed to be the ultimate power, especially by the Shaktipithas sect. Now, these celebrations, these festivals are so deeply engraved in the psyche of the people that this pulls them in huge numbers to these temples every year and during these auspicious festivals. They don't mind standing in line. They don't mind taking the pressures, the temperature and all those kind of challenges, but they just stand for hours and hours in these queue to just have a glimpse and to get those few seconds to offer prayers in the main sanctum. There are, besides these annual festivals, there are some special festivals that are celebrated in these temples. Like example, Jwalamukhi temple celebrates a famous Jwalamukhi fair, which is believed to be in honor of the volcano goddess, and it's one of the most important celebration. Entire fair take place, people visit in huge numbers, a lot of feast is held, langar is continued for non-stop for those 9-10 days when the festival is celebrated. And there is a special route around the Jwalamukhi temple which the pilgrims, the visitors used to specially take around. It's called the circumambulatory path or the Pradakshina path for this special fair. The Bajreshwari Devi temple also celebrates a huge fair on Amavasya, which is the new moon day. A lot of ceremonial processions are carried out. Chamunda Devi temple is popular for a very special prayer, which is unique of its kind, which is again performed during Navratras. There are 64 trees that sit together and they recite the readings of Shakt Chandi, which is a religious scripture of the Shaktas. And this special prayer is only performed in the Chamunda Devi temple. Naina Devi temple celebrates its major fair called Chala, which is celebrated in the month of August. And again, people walk down to temple, offer their prayers, and they celebrate this festival for a period of 9 or 10 days. These festivals have a lot of special rituals which are performed during this period. People take spiritual dip. This is a picture of the Chamunda temple where people are taking a spiritual bath in the river Banganga. This rivulet flows just at the back of the temple, and it is believed to have miraculous healing powers for the skin diseases. So people believe if you have any kind of skin disease and you take a spiritual dip in this river, you are cured. Then the Chintpunni temple is very famous as the goddess of Chinmastika. That means who can remove all your worries. जो आपकी सारी चिंताएं दूर करती है. There are special offerings that are offered to the goddess, and one of this is a pair of silver eyes, which is offered to the goddess. And as I said, the Chintpunni temple is believed to be built at the site where the eye of the goddess felt. So it is believed to have special parts for the healing of the eyes of women if they go and offer prayers. There are sacred trees, which is a peepal tree, a special tree which is in the center of the temple. People worship it. They make offerings to it and they tie these red cloths, red threads, and they seek for their wishes. And once their wishes are fulfilled, they come back to offer prayers to the goddess. So she's basically believed to fulfill all their wishes. Then there are some special offerings which are made during this celebration. There is a red dupatta, then there is a packet with bangles and all kind of accessories that is offered to the goddess for taking her blessings. And this is especially done during Navaratras. And there is a Devi Mahatmya, during which that's the religious scripture, and you read the entire Shakti part and puja and archana from those who want to sit in the temple premise and do it. Then there is a special custom of this, which is called a jaw in Hindi. They, plant this, and this is considered to be very auspicious. It brings you good luck, prosperity, and this is specially planted in the homes of the people who observe a fast during these 10 days. And during these 10 days, if they're eating one meal also per day, that meal has to be without onion and garlic. That is the belief of the foods that can be consumed during the Navratras. Again, a picture of the famous Naina Devi temple, which has a special gate. This is called the gate to heaven. And whenever people come and visit this, it is believed to offer them moksha, or happiness in the next life after death. So they come and tie those threads, they seek their wishes, and once their wishes are fulfilled, they come back. Another important place where rituals are performed in Naina Devi temple, this is the main Havan Kund of Naina Devi temple. And they say that since the temple exists from more than 5,000 years ago, this Havan Kund is every day lit, every day Havan is performed. People come, people pick up those ashes and they use it for their forehead. They use it, they keep it, wrap it in their paper slips and put it in their pockets to seek good wishes. And it is believed, or it's a reality, that the ashes of whatever they burn every day, and they have been burning it for so many years in the temple, has never been picked off. The site has never been cleared. They say it's the magic of the goddess that this the waste or the ashes that you call after lighting up this Havan Kund, they subside in the floor on their own. So these are believed to be certain places of contact with the spiritual or communication with beyond human reality places in the temples. Similarly, this is an image of the Jwalamukhi temple, where the main sanctum doesn't have any idol or statue of the goddess. There are fissures in the sanctum. It was built in the cave, and from those fissures, 9 of the flames are continuously erupting. They are continuously lit on their own from years and years since the temple existed. So people believe these 9 flames are probably the 9 forms of the goddess, and they come and offer prayers and give offerings to this. Now, the point is that the celebrations, the rituals, whatever happens in the temple, people are so attached to it that they come in huge numbers, they stand for hours in the line, and they do not have any kind of regrets or any kind of challenges that, they face these lot of problems. They're so happy with the spiritual gains they have during the temple. And this is all because the associated belief and sacrality of these Shaktipith temples is very strong in Indians. And I won't say there are only Hindus visiting this site. There are also many Sikhs I have seen visiting this site because of the cross-cultural associations. Another important thing is people come during Navratras. They believe it to be a very special time during the fair, when the special fair is organized, and they have their own special priest. And with the help of those priests, they perform special prayers for their own family to bring prosperity and good luck to them. People keep crawling. I have seen they crawl on the floor to reach the main sanctum. Then there are people who, step, they crawl, then they get up, they again crawl. So this is how they reach the temple, with coconut or something in their hand when their wishes are fulfilled. So the associated belief and sacrality is very strong in the people, and all those old people, children who cannot walk, because all of these temples are located at a very high altitude. So you have to walk quite a number of steps. So if you can't walk, then there is a service that is being offered. They are lifted, but they still prefer to go and give their offerings, because they can be taken from the lower altitude to the outside of the precinct, but the inside they have to walk, which is a huge area again to walk, but still people walk that area to fulfill their pilgrimage or Tirth Yatra, as the Hindus say. Chantpurni temple is also famous for a special celebration, for a special ritual, which is called Mundan, which is the first hair removal ceremony of an infant in the Hindu religion, which is to be considered to be auspicious. And the hair removed from the child's head, they are sometimes preserved, or they are sometimes thrown in religious waters. So Chantpurni temple has a special space designated for these Mundan ceremonies, where people bring in their kids, they have their own pandits, their own priest who will perform prayers for them, and then they perform this ceremony in their presence. And then there are different type of prasads or offerings that are made to the goddess depending upon the festival. There is dry prasad, there is aam papad, then there is these sugar-coated balls that are served, as well as halwa, which is one of the main ingredient, and the red dupatta, which is offered to the goddess, which is a part of all the prasad and offerings made during any of these special festivals. Now, these celebrations, these fairs, people keep walking long distances. They offer special kind of prasad to the goddess, like Jwalamukhi you offer during the Jwalamukhi fair. A lot of milk is offered to these flames for bringing good luck and prosperity. Then there are langars that are organized for the people who come for 9 or 10 days or who come to visit there. So continuously during that span of 10 days, langar is being offered to the people. This goes on for 24 hours because there is so much rush of the visitors. Then in Hindi we call ki katha and aartis are done regularly. Then there are followers of goddess who believe. So what they do on site, when people are walking on foot, they will organize Vishal Bhandaras, which is again a langar, serving food, serving prasad to the visitors who are going to the temple. Is also considered, as you can see, it says it is being offered for 24 hours. And they also give accommodation facilities to some of the visitors, which is being done in and around the premises by putting up tents and arranging for all those things. Besides the annual celebrations, festivals, there are very important daily rituals which are performed in the temple. And as I said, pilgrimage is a time-bound ritual. These daily rituals hold a lot of significance on the special day of the celebration. So this is called Snan, which is the ritual bath of the deity. This is done twice a day, in the morning, late evening. During this, the temple is closed. I would like to specially mention that during Navaratras, the temple is closed only for 1 or 1.5 or maximum 2 hours during the entire day when this ritual is performed. Otherwise, it is open for the visitors to offer prayers. Then is the Darshan Sindoor. This is decorating the idol with the sindoor or vermilion and accessories, bringing her back early morning, enshrining the goddess in the temple again. This is a highly sacred ritual done by temple priests and all those pilgrims who have strong spiritual beliefs. And since I've been a participant to these rituals, I see them stacking in queues early morning from around like 4 o'clock just to see this first ritual and take the blessings of the goddess. Then there is Aarti and Bhog. The deity is offered prasad, which has to be served. You can see the Kangra temple or the Bajreshwari temple, she is offered food, and then the Shringar or the Snan is done with white butter. And this is a newspaper cutting which says 18 quintal butter was used to adorn her, and then she's decorated with flowers. And especially during Navratras, the prasad that is made is offered first to the goddess, that is called Bhog, and later on it is distributed to the pilgrims and to the visitors. The deity is later taken to a separate room called Shaya room for rest in her palanquin, and that's a picture of the Shaya room at Jwalamukhi temple. And after that, the temple is closed, and in the morning it is again enshrined back in the main temple with a lot of zeal, vigor, and people participate. They sing aartis. But this is a small video that gives you an actual little glimpse of the celebrations and the sacrality of the people. This is the aarti being performed in the Jwalamukhi temple. the continuous langars and prasads that are offered to the goddess. Now, if I talk about significance of this religious tourism, it's always a pilgrimage site which pulls thousands, hundreds of people from different corners of the world to offer prayers. It is a living religious heritage site because it is still being used for the original function that it was meant to be used for. It generates employment for the local community who put up their shops, their commerce activities to support the huge inflow of tourists. It's a revenue generation thing. This is the actual board of Sri Nana Devi, where you can see how much gold, how much cash, how much silver people come and offer to the goddess in return for their families' good wishes, in return for moksha. And in the middle of all these is what is the most important thing is the visitor experience. How does he experience the site? What is his spiritual feeling? And is that enough? Is that good enough to bring him back to this site? If you look at the two pictures, since today's webinar is focused more on celebrations and festivals, so I am not going to detail much on the issues faced in these temples because of the huge inflow of tourists, but these two pictures will give you a glimpse. This is the main pilgrimage route for the Naina Devi temple, and this is followed especially during the biggest festival Navratras because they do not have that much space in the temple to accommodate those number of people. So they use an alternate route which is little longer, but this route will take the visitor from amongst these dirty, deteriorated, neglected buildings, broken facades, and there are international tourists also walking through this. So you can very well imagine what is the spiritual experience they get and what will pull them back again and again. So there are several issues of like this which are in the site. So, but if you look at the International Cultural Tourism Charter, the 6 principles of that charter says responsible and well-managed opportunities, relationship between heritage places and tourism is very important to be maintained. And what is most important is to ensure the visitor experience to be worthwhile, satisfying, enjoyable, so that it brings him back to that site. There are host communities, indigenous people, they should be involved in every kind of activity that is done on the site. Tourism and conservation activities should actually benefit the community around, and tourism promotion programs should protect and enhance heritage. But in midst of all this, I feel what is the most important thing is ensuring the visitor experience, which at these sites is right now in crisis because the number of tourists over the years has gone so high that the tourist carrying capacity of these sites is under a question. There is a lot of pressure on the heritage, the infrastructure around, and a lot of infrastructure is being randomly added on these sites to accommodate the tourist, and a lot of commerce activities are coming up, which are in a way diluting the spiritual environment at these temples. So I feel what the way forward is, there are a lot of lessons to be drawn for the destination management of these sites. So these sites can be retained. They continue to offer us tourism facilities. They continue to be places of cultural significance to us. The issues of hygiene and visitor experience need to be better managed. A dynamic approach needs to be adopted where the different stakeholders come together to offer various linkage points to encourage their return visits. And when I mention stakeholders, I do not mean only the people in the management or the government or the temple priest. I'm also talking about the actual user, the visitor who is there. He needs to be aware of the responsible tourism practices so that these sites can retain their original value and cultural significance. A good spiritual experience at a religious site especially helps to increase the frequency of visits and hence generate more employment at these sites. Religious tourism also improves mental and social well-being due to its intrinsic qualities. Hence, responsible tourism aspects such as destination planning, land use, transportation, parking facility, the tourist carrying capacity of these sites, and urban environment management needs to be addressed very strongly at these sites. A few references, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Harveen ji.
Thank you, Harveen. You have done a good job. And thanks to both the Northeastern members, we learned a lot of new things.
So, Madhuji, do we have time to take a couple of questions?
I don't think so. Maybe we can take
Okay.
them
Okay.
by email or something.
Okay, so I'll request everyone, those who have attended the seminar, they can write to us to the NSC CT email ID if there are any questions or if there's any information that they need. If anyone is visiting there, since this is a tourism webinar, if anyone is actually going to visit these places as tourists and they need information or they want to contribute their thoughts to this, please write to the NSC CT email ID. Since we are running short of time, I think we shall conclude our session 2 of Connecting the Dots Season 2. I would like to thank all the 3 coordinators, coordinator for NSC CT, Madhuji, Architect Madhu Voteri, coordinator for NSC ICH, Dr. Mrinalini Atre, and the coordinator for NSC HTCV, Dr. Niyati Jigyasu, for making this webinar series possible. And we will now meet on the next Saturday on 27th May, where we will be looking at Session 3, West and Central Zone. And I request Madhuji to give the, to conclude today's session after this vote of thanks.
So I once again thank the speakers, the people who have attended it. So I request all of you to just leave your cameras open and then, maybe we can take a picture.
Yes. So with this, we'll
Thank you
close
so
today's
much,
session.
Madhuvan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you.